Well, welcome to the Redlands Camera Club Winter Competition 2025. And we have some great images this evening. Looking forward to a spirited competition. And I'm going to turn it over to Julie Lowe, our competition chair.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our competition tonight. And I just want to say I'm really impressed with all the photos that we received, all the entries. So we have received 51 entries in total from 26 people. And we have wonderful judges that will be joining us today. So I would like to start our meeting and would like to go over our agenda today. First, we'll have the judges' introductions. Then I'll be going over the scoring guidelines that our judges will be using. Then we will monitor we will calibrate the monitors, and then we'll do a run through of all the images that we receive, so that the judges can have a quick glance of all the photos before we do this judging. So we'll do the judging, and then because we received 51 entries, we will stop at image number 26, and we'll take a 5-minute break. After that, we will continue with our judging until the end. And then we will conclude our competition after that. So I would like to welcome our three distinguished judges today. So first up is Mr. Bruce Bonet. Bruce
Yep, I
is,
woke up, unfortunately.
sorry, Bruce is an award-winning nature and landscape photographer based in Redlands, California, a longtime Redlands Camera Club member and past president. He has earned numerous state and national honors for his work, including multiple top 10 photographer awards from the Professional Photographers of California. Next up, we have is Mr. Jerry Vance. Jerry has spent over 60 years mastering the art and science of photography, from film and home darkrooms to today's digital dim room. A lifelong PPA member and multi-award-winning portrait photographer, Jerry continues to share his passion through education, mentoring, and professional judging. And our third judge is Mr. John Paul Wolf. John Paul is an award-winning portrait photographer based in the Inland Empire, specializing in high school seniors and family photography. As, pre as president of IEPPV, he mentors emerging photographers while continuing to create authentic, personality-driven portraits that reflect confidence and connection. So those are our three judges. Next is the scoring guideline. So these are the categories and the scores that our judges will be using for today's competition. So now we're gonna go ahead and calibrate our monitors. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Good.
And everyone can go ahead and follow the Zoom meeting screen there.
So I'm going to share that.
So I have what I have up right now, judges, if you can take a look. I have two sides, two panels. The one on the left, you can see it's a colorful one with multiple images that are in color. And the one on the right-hand side are four circles that are black and white. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So next, I'm gonna go let you see two sample photos. The first one is a small wooden man with some crayons and a Sharpie and a white ball. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right. The last sample one that we have is called Chick Magnet, and it has an image of a little boy in front of a car.
Got it.
All right. So what I will be doing next, I will be gonna do a run through of all the 51 images. So we have about 3 seconds between each images. I'm gonna mute myself so that you won't hear my mouse clicking. So here is the first image.
Don't see it yet, Julie. You're muted. All right, there it
Got,
is.
got an image. Star Trail.
Good.
So that was it. That was all 51 images.
Okay.
All
So
right,
we'll go
so
ahead and get started with image number one.
Do these images have names with them?
Carl, can you make the announcement for each image, please?
Did we lost Carl?
Carl here? Anne, is Carl here?
Carl's muted. Let me unmute him.
Okay.
Well, I guess I can't unmute him. I can ask that he be unmuted. So Carl is muted.
I am unmuted now.
Okay. So I'll pass it on to Carl. Next,
Okay.
Carl will be making the announcement of the title of the image and the category.
The first image is in the places category. Ocotillo orbits. Ocotillo orbits.
We're just wait. Okay. So the score that I'll be announcing will be the average score. So the score for this image is 83.
Next image is in the
Sorry, Carl, can you get the judge's commentary?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
Brooks,
okay.
you got the first one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Who gets the first one?
Bruce Bonet.
Bruce.
Okay. Uh, I scored this an 85. I thought really good impact because you did when that came up, you just immediately drawn into it, and some really good technical excellence. So I like this image. It obviously took a long time to do, and knowing that there's typically a lot of times like satellites and airplanes that you have to get rid of these things. My congratulations on getting some great circles here with no impinging uh, flights, etc. So good job.
The next image is in the open miscellaneous category. Unfurled. Unfurled.
The score is 78.
78. This one goes to Jerry.
Yeah, I scored this an 80. What I like the textures, I like the color, and I really like that we got pretty much diagonal lines going throughout it because it's a very common mistake for people to center things or straighten things up. And I like the diagonals give it some movement, and it looks reasonably crisp on most of it. So
Thank you, Jerry. Next is in the animal category. The fabulous feathers of the flicker. Fabulous feathers of the flicker.
The score is 82.
82, and this is for John Paul.
I think there's a lot of nice things about this image, particularly the uh, hummingbird itself, which is nice. I scored it lower than the average, and I think some of the things that I would highlight is that we lose a lot of detail in the feathers because it kind of looks like the background might have been blurred separate from the bird, and the sharpness on the toes is great, but it sticks out too much, um, like it's too sharp there. So maybe just trying a little bit of the blending better between that really blurry background and the edges of the bird itself would help. But overall, it's a great capture, which I'm sure was difficult unless you took like 1,000 pictures.
I'd like to challenge this. I do a lot of bird photography,
You
and
do.
um, this is a great capture. And one of the most important things is you look and can you see the eyes? And I can see the
Yeah.
eyes very distinctly. The feathers there are just super crisp. Uh, the tail and is crisp. I think some of the issues with regard to, the body, it's kind of a fuzzy, but that's a kind of a fuzzy bird. So I scored it an 87, and I thought it deserves that.
I think my biggest hesitation, Bruce, is really the masking between the bird and the background. Is that it's just far too sharp. It, but but I hear you.
Okay. Let's see, did we hear from Jerry yet?
Uh, this is a very difficult subject. I mean, I do hummingbirds occasionally. Just recently, in the last year, started doing them at our place, and it's incredibly difficult to do. I've done a lot of sports photography over my career. Birds are tough because you don't know where the damn things are going to go, and to get the composition is excellent because we're always trying to get it not centered. And like I say, the head is sharp. I don't see any direct evidence of a masking issue. This can easily be done in camera. I do it all the time, just based on your lens focal length, and your f-stop, and blur out the background like that. So that does not look unusual to me in the background. So I think it deserves a higher score as well.
Okay, Jerry, thank you. Judges, could you please rescore?
Oh, mine said send again.
There we go.
There we go.
The score is 84.
There we go.
4. Thank you, judges. Next one is our first in the category X, toys. Rainbow Slinky. Rainbow Slinky.
The score is 83.
83. Bruce, you've got this one.
Uh, I scored an 85. I thought it had some great impact, very creative way of doing this. This coming up with something that would show the slinky, but in a way that I don't think I've ever seen it before.
Yeah.
Beautiful color. It looks sharp where it needs to be sharp. Uh, High impact, and so I thought it deserved an 85.
Thank you, Bruce. Next image is in places category. A window on Whitney. A window on Whitney.
One question, how do we clear a score?
On the bottom, there should be a clear
Clear
or an
button.
arrow back, a back arrow.
Oh, okay. There, whoop, that didn't work too well.
You can try also tapping the score itself.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back into it because it went bye-bye.
Ooh,
Oh,
do you have the link?
I am going to find it very quickly here. Hopefully. Let me go with this one. Sorry, it'll take just a second here.
No worries.
Bruce, it's printcompetition.com
Yeah,
slash event slash judge.
I just a little bit slow in typing. Okay. I'm still the same person.
Yes, you're A.
Okay.
The score is 81.
81. This one goes to Jerry.
On first impact is good.
Jerry,
I like
go ahead and give your score.
82. The impact is really good on this, but the longer I looked at it, the more the out of focus foreground kind of bothered me because there's a lot of it. I think it could go higher if it was cropped a bit to reduce the amount of out of focus rock in the foreground because we have to focus on one or the other. Or, well, of course, you could break two images and focus both of them and merge them together, of course. Um, so there's ways to do that. So I would have gone higher if it was crisper on the foreground rock, but it does make us look at the center, which is the subject. So I was kind of torn on this one. I really love the idea, but after a while, that much out of focus material in the foreground kind of bothered me from keeping me from going too much higher.
I'd like to make a comment too on this too.
Sure.
Um, the if I'd been doing this one, I would have cropped down so I did not show the corners of the sky because those are drawing me away from the center
Agreed.
topic. So, and you don't, most of it is just rocks and grain, which is fine, but the blue is very distracting.
Okay, thank you, judges.
Okay.
The next is in the people category, Katrina in prayer. Katrina in prayer.
The score is 79.
79. This is John Paul's.
I actually really like this image. I scored it to higher than the average. I scored it 85, actually. I think that it was a fun capture. The things that I think really would have brought everyone else's score up is if you had really just instead of using a vignette, which is great, I like the vignette draws that eye right into the center there, but you could have also just darkened the whole background so that we could see less of the busyness that's going on back there. The other thing is, it feels to me like it's rather over sharpened because there's a lot of grain in this image, which clearly was shot in full sun. So I don't think it needs to be that sharpened because I think that takes away from those shadows being as bold as they could be because there's all those grainy white dots in there. But I really like the subject and the composition. Maybe if she had been a little bit more to the left, that would be even more powerful, and we could have gotten rid of some more of that background. But overall, I enjoyed it.
All right, I want to interrupt for a second. Bruce Herwig, um, we have the difference in scores is more than 10 points. Do you want the judges to rescore this?
That is an automatic challenge.
It did not flag it up, but
No,
I
I'm saying
noticed the difference.
that isn't by our rules. That's an automatic challenge. So yes.
So judges, can we please rescore this image? The score is 79. I guess the score is still the same.
Okay, thank you, judges and Julie. The next one is animal
Let me ask, let,
category.
let me ask a question. If we have an automatic challenge like that, should you ask for our comments?
Bruce?
Probably should have. You want to back it up?
Okay.
You've heard John Paul. Bruce, go ahead.
Um, I like the capture. The detail is great, but the reason I did it a 74. I'm the bad guy in this group. Uh, but the vignette should not be noticeable. This thing just is glaring. And if it had been, it's a bright day, but if you could somehow increase your shutter speed, but drop down your aperture so you could blur out more of the background, it would have been a much better image because there's just too much distraction in the background.
Jerry?
I increased my score on the rescore, but the highlights are just too hot for me. I would have, the vignette needs to go and the highlights need to be dropped down because that's the two big things that really got to me. So I did increase it to 80.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. The next category or next image is in the animal category. Here's looking at you. Here's looking at you.
Go into her apartment, lock herself in with all the deadbolts, and be safe.
Somebody needs to mute themselves, and can you find them?
She ran up the stairs to her third floor unit. There it was.
Hang
A
on.
round faux leather door number 20.
Carl, Jerry, Bruce, Dave. Oh,
You got the score? Julie, you can continue.
The score is 75.
75, Bruce.
Okay. Oh, another bird photography. Yes. I scored it as 75. I like the pose. The lighting on it is great, but the thing that held me back is there's nothing on the bird that's really tack sharp. Uh, the eyes are getting close, but still it's a little bit blurry. So Well, I scored a 75.
Thank you, Bruce. In the places category, the last bus stop. The last bus stop.
The score is 81.
81. Jerry.
I scored an 82. Um, I like the composition of it. Um, would have been nice to shift the yellow trolley over even more to the right to get closer to the crash point. But I want to maintain the cars on the right as well, so that's really important to maintain that. And the lighting that was in there and you took advantage of is fine. It's skimming across these various cars nicely and doing nice things to the floor as well. I kind of like that. The color of your center of interest makes it pop out, so it does have a pretty good strong center of interest. So I gave it an
Thank
82.
you. Thank you, Jerry. In the people category, we have orangutan dancer. Orangutan dancer.
The score is 84.
84. John Paul.
Yeah, I just love this image. I'm a sucker for the mirror images and being able to see everything there. And I scored an 83. And so I think that the couple things, if I was going to say to improve this, would have been maybe just straightening her necklace because it's kind of off center and it doesn't seem like it should be. On the right hand side, her hair just disappears. I can see just a little bit of that back hair light for something that was there. It's hard to say if it was a stray hair or something that could have been cleaned up, but probably the biggest thing for me is it would have been nice compositionally to have not cut off her head on the reflection and to actually have put the focus on her eye in the reflection rather than what I believe it was to be, which was either the ring or her eyelashes in there, so that reflection could have been sharper. You can see some ghosting on the nose ring and the reflection pretty prominently, and I think that might have helped that. Maybe a faster shutter speed, but overall, it's fun. I really like it.
I'd like to add a comment to it. I scored an 83 too. I thought it was a great shot. The one thing that I'm looking at, if you had moved the cropping it a little bit tighter on the left, you had more symmetry. Because this whole thing not only is symmetry vertically, but also symmetry left and right. It would brought up my score a little bit.
Oh, good catch, Bruce.
Thank you. In the photojournalism category, looking up. Looking up.
The score is 80.
We have an 80. Bruce.
Okay, I scored this an 80. Uh, it has great impact. I love the face is very sharp. Looks very nice. Now, this is in photojournalism, so you can't uh, erase things, etc. However, you can dodge and burn. And I think it had been improved a little bit if you had dodged the light on the left-hand side in the building, taking it in the back, so it went further into the back. And then on the right-hand side, about a quarter of the way, halfway down, there's light up there. Again, that could have been toned down by a little bit of dodging on it. But great idea, great shot. Uh, by the way, another thing you could do too is, of course, crop, and you could come in and crop from the left-hand side, so you don't have that tree that's out there at the end of the that one feather, and you could have cut off a little bit of the feather like you did on the right-hand side. Uh, in fact, you could have brought it in a little bit from both sides just to concentrate more upon the actor.
Thank you, Bruce. In the places category, the Huey P. Long Bridge, New Orleans. Huey P. Long Bridge, New Orleans.
The score is 76.
76. Jerry.
It's a long bridge. I kind of put it in the, just slightly above average category. It's a basic place shot. Uh, there's not I don't there's not much else going on in it besides the bridge itself. I do like the reflections in the water though, so it's what I would call a record shot basically. It needs a little more to go into a category of artistic interest. So as far as I can go.
Can I add a comment just
Go for
briefly?
it.
I think that if you had cropped in on the left-hand side and on the bottom, you would have gotten rid of one of those reflections that stands out. I don't know what it was from, but it's a little distracting, and the part of the bridge that's just not lit. And if you'd cropped in enough, you could have gotten rid of that sensor spot that's on the left-hand side above where the bridge is not lit anymore. And I think that overall would have just gotten rid of some of the distractions of the image and made it stronger overall.
I'd agree with that too, and I would have made this a strong landscape format. You've got too much on the bottom,
Yeah.
too much on the top. Just, zoom in and make it part of the long landscape type thing is just the shape of it provides, shall we say, some tension and brings the attention right to where you want to have the people looking at.
Thank you, judges. In the photojournalism category, No Kings Rally, 10/18/25. No Kings Rally, 10/18/25.
What category is this again?
This is in the photojournalism.
Or journalism, okay.
The score is 74.
74. And this one goes to John Paul.
So I know it's photojournalism, and it's hard. It frustrates me too when I enter in this category, but um, I would have really liked it if he had just moved to the right more, so we could see more of this young man writing what they're writing, and then that would have been able to get rid of some of that. Well, all of the leg, really. The other thing I think that holds me back is that the main subject is just not as sharp a focus as I would like to see there. You probably could have cropped it in tighter. In particular, I probably would have cropped it down so that we keep the freedom for all, but got rid of the protesters in the background, only because they're so out of focus, and that bright green sign just draws you away from the serious work that's happening with this young man chalking the ground. Other than that, though, I think that this was probably a beautiful moment.
Judges, if you could please start with your score that gives context for some of the comments. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. My score was a 73.
Okay, the next image is from photojournalism category. Brilliant Day's End. Brilliant Day's End.
We're just waiting for Bruce's. So sorry to interrupt. We have more than 10 points discrepancy between the judges. Should
Let's go
we?
ahead and give the score first.
The score is 80.
Okay. And then let's go ahead and commentary. So who is going to give the commentary?
Is Bruce's turn?
Okay, and then
Okay.
we'll just go down one at a time.
Okay. I scored it an 82. I thought it had a lot of impact, uh, and the timing and the positioning. So you got the halo of the sun in the background, worked very nicely. You've got a good shutter speed on it that captured the movement of the water and the smoke that was coming up. Uh, I would like to have seen the the darkers lightened a little bit. Right now, you have no detail in of a lot of the black, say, on his uniform and stuff like that. And there should be a little bit of the of detail there. Uh, and I liked it, so it was an 82, I thought. So
Jerry, comments?
Jerry?
I give it an 87. Got terrific impact. Strong backlight, which I love. And when you have that in the situation with that ground so corrugated, you're going to lose all the detail in the shadows. That's very common in photojournalism to do that. I would like to have seen the more importantly, the firefighter in the foreground sharper. But then again, there's a lot of classic, famous photojournalistic images that aren't sharp. It's catching the moment and the action that's really usually the most important thing. Compositionally, it's excellent as well. So I scored an 87.
John Paul?
I scored it a 70. I think that what really holds me back, one, is that the darks are way too dark, and I understand that it's backlit, but there's just no detail in some of that burnt area, or in the pants. I mean, it goes completely to black. But then right next to that is these lines that are just way over sharpened. Everything is just so sharp. And if it had a better gradient between um, the background particularly if you look at the hose. I mean, the hose looks like it is outlined, and I know because it was backlit that that was a lot of light there, but in if it wasn't so overly sharpened, then we would see more of a glow there, and I think that that would add so much more, to the picture overall. So that's my big hesitation on why my score is so low.
Okay, judges, would you rescore, please?
The score is 79.
Okay, thank you. Next image is in the places category, Copenhagen at night. Copenhagen at night.
The score is 73.
73, Jerry.
Okay. Nighttime shot, exposure looks good on this. I like the buildings, I like this smokestacks and all that, but I don't think the sky is helping that much. I mean, again, maybe this should be a good one for cropping and taking out most of that sky and giving it a strip because that's where the action is the architecture itself and not the sky. Plus, the sky is full of a lot of debris as far as you have some spots around there that just are not. So I scored it as 5.
Hey, this image is places category. Ottawa in the eastern Ottawa in the eastern Sierra.
Over there.
The score is 78.
78. Uh, this one goes to John Paul.
Yeah, I love the colors in this, and I scored a 75 on this. I love the colors in it, and the naming of it is perfect. I know exactly where we are and what we're looking at. I think the reason I gave it the score that I did is because there's so much to look at, and I don't know what to look at here, like exactly what it was. I think that if I was going to make some suggestions on this. One would be that your aperture was probably just too high because there's the little tiny far in the back. If you look at the crack there, the little greens are sharp as the the trees right in the front. And I probably would have cropped it in really to focus more on this path that you were on that's leading us, maybe do a portrait instead of landscape, so that I could follow that path with my eye better to get rid of some of the evergreens, get rid of some of the blue in there. I think that helped a lot to do that, just to give me something to look at, because there's a lot, but I don't know what to look at exactly.
Thank you. Next image is the animal category. Pollinator job. Pollinator job.
38, but more than 10 points differences between the
Okay.
scores.
Well, let's go ahead with Bruce. It's yours today.
Okay, something else flying. There's a pattern here. Uh, the colors on this are beautifully, the action, being able to capture that is very nice, but the overall, the uh, the B is not sharp, and it needs to also have the dark lightened a little bit so you can get more idea about the face of the bee. Um, you just need more depth of field there to be able to bring out that main flower and that bee. Right now, the Christmas thing on this are the leaves in the foreground and the bottom. And that's driving you away from where the main concept would be, or the main uh, focus of image focus should be. And you could also crop down a little bit more on the top rather than having the be right dead center.
Jerry, could you comment?
I agree with everything Bruce said. Totally accurate there. I scored it a 74.
And John Paul?
I scored an 87. I just love this. I think that while the head is dead center, the rest of the body goes nice far to the left. I do agree with Bruce, and I'll adjust my score accordingly, that it would have been nice if the bee was tack sharp. But I mean, even the hairs on the back, I mean, it's the eyeball's not tack sharp of the bee, but the hairs on the back are very sharp on this. The composition is so nice. I like the foreground branch that's coming out, which has some out of focus areas and some in focus areas, so it's not distracting. Um, Overall, this is a difficult capture, and I think that thinking about all of that, I would just encourage my judges to come up a little bit because it's a pretty impactful image.
Thank you. Judges, rescore, please.
The score is 79.
Thank you. The next next image is the animal category. Deep sea ballerina. Deep sea ballerina.
I assume that we have no rules against aquariums or captive animals in this competition.
That's correct.
Okay.
The score is 79.
79. Jerry.
I scored it a 75, and I would have gone higher if it had uh, a lot more sharpness because everything in this is a little soft. I like the actness going on though, because it does act like it's something dancing underwater. So it's that capture part is excellent. I see much in focus.
Okay, thank you. In the people category, till death do us part. Till death do us part.
The score is 76.
76. John Paul.
I scored this 76, so I guess I got it right this time. A couple of things about this. I love the pose. That's great, and the expressions on their face are perfect for, what you're doing there. I would have liked a more shallow depth of field since they were right next to each other, so we can get that car out of focus in that background. But your highlights in the background are they're very, very blown out. And then where you added the vignette, it's very, very dark. All around the hat, it goes just the woman's hat and the man's hat. It just goes to complete black. There's no detail there that I can see. And then, like, you can see her hand is really blown out. I know these, in these moments, trying to capture these images, you want to get it. But in this case, I think I probably would have moved them to an area with more even lighting than what you got here. But the expressions are great and the pose is great. So keep up the good work.
Yeah. I'd like to add a comment on this. This was not journalism, correct?
That's
No.
correct. It was
Yeah. So you could have really gotten rid of that car. That the headlight is very distracting. And if I'd been running this, I would have dropped this into the raw uh, number raw utility and brought in the blacks because as was mentioned, there's no detail in a lot of those blacks. So
okay. The next image is in the animal category. Sitting pretty. Sitting pretty.
The score is 85.
85. Bruce.
uh, I think it's a beautiful capture. The eye is tack sharp. The fur around it or the feathers around it is sharp. A lot of good detail throughout it. Um, and owls are hard to get. Primarily, they tend to hide in a lot of shadow places. If I would to improve this, I would knock down some of the light uh, leaves that are surrounding it, and maybe brought it down, maybe about a third of the way down from the top, just to concentrate and give the bird a little bit more emphasis in that location. But very much like it very much, and it has good impact. And it looks to me got really good technical elegance, and the composition's good. So, congratulations.
What was your score, Bruce?
An 86.
Thank you.
Can I just add to this? And my score was an 85. I think there's just a little bit of cleanup things that could have just added so much strength to this. There's the branch to the left that is really bright, to the left of the owl, the upper branch. And there's that dead leaf that provides the only orange in there, draws my eye. And then lastly, usually for competitions, we don't watermark them with our name in the bottom left. So let's, remember that. And if this had been in a different competition, I would also say this would have benefited so much from a nicer presentation, with a black maybe outline and a key line on it would have just really made it pop.
And John, we don't allow watermarks in our competition either. So I'm sorry we didn't catch this earlier. So we're going to have to, Bruce, we've done this in the past where we've disqualified an image.
Yes. Now, I did not notice that at all.
It is there, bottom left.
Yeah, I can see it. It just it seemed a shame to knock this thing out of competition. But
Based on our rules,
the
yeah,
rules are rules.
yes, unfortunate.
Yep.
So the maker of this image, if you would please take note of that, please take solace in the high score and find comments. But we're going to need to pull this from competition.
Okay, thank you. In the open miscellaneous category, curly cues. Curly cues.
The score is 83.
83. Jerry.
I gave this an 86. The impact is excellent. There's nothing to distract you from the center of interest. The background is clean. I like the title as well, and I like the old leaves that are just starting to go. Got good crisp detail there. I like all the curls and the ends of the leaf. So I think it's excellent. I give it an 86.
In the people category, we have deep in thought. Deep in thought.
The score is 77.
77. John Paul.
I scored this an 80. I love what you did here. I like that the main subject's not in the center. The lines of the fence are straight up and down, and so compositionally, it's very nice. I really like what you did with the shadows. There's detail there. What kept me from going higher is that the highlights are just too high. On his face, underneath the hat, and on the broken tennis racket or badminton, I don't know what we hit with it. But those could have been brought down, those whites a little bit. And the other thing, and because this wasn't photojournalism, those noise canceling headphones take me out of the time period that I would have seen this in otherwise. Moving those just kind of out of the shot, I think would have helped immensely. And maybe a more shallow depth of field, so that background behind the fence would have gone a little more out of focus. So overall, though, great capture. I wish I was there.
Next is in the category X, toys category. Bubbles. Bubbles.
The score is 75.
75. Bruce.
I scored this a 74. I thought it was a very clever photo. Uh, the bubbles are great. Uh, the Uh, they look really sharp. The boy's good. Uh, what I think would have dramatically improved this is cropping it a lot tighter, getting rid of that chair entirely, and bringing it the cropping from the bottom to about midway in the red area, so that you're contrasting more upon the boy and the bubbles themselves. Right now, and also take off a little bit on the left. Just concentrate on that boy and those bubbles, and their legs don't mean anything to the picture. The chair doesn't mean anything, nor do those looks like the wood against the wall. Uh, it would just made it a lot more concentrated on the toy, shall we say, and the boy enjoying it.
I'd like to add, I don't, I agree with everything Bruce said. I think we don't need to add additional sharpening to an image like this. You know, the bubbles were moving, everything's moving. It's a little overly sharp for the playfulness of the whole scene. But I also scored it to 74.
Okay. In the people category, we have flamenco and writer. Flamenco and writer, the writer. Flamenco and the writer.
The score is 88.
88, Jerry?
Yeah, I scored this in 86. Um, I love the pose is excellent. These two must dance, and it's just terrific pose. His looking at her the way he is, the feet, everything. Her hands are marvelous. I like the high key effect with the background. It cleans it up beautifully. It's a good presentation as well. So 86.
In the animal category, keeping watch. Keeping watch.
The score is 75.
75, John Paul.
Great impact on this. It's a great pose, and um, just classic there of a lion. The things that I think would have brought it up, it's just there's no part of this image that I can see that is tack sharp or really in focus, and that would have helped immensely. I would have liked to have also maybe masked it a little bit and brightened the lion just a little bit and made it stand out a little bit more. But really, it's just the focus that holds me back.
John, what was your score?
72.
Thank you.
I'd like to add a comment on this too. I agree with John Paul said. For me, one of the things that would make this a lot better is cropping off uh, probably about a third of it from the right-hand side and just concentrate on the front legs and the head. The back part of the lion is simply a distraction from the face. And I really tightened up in that.
Especially with no tail. If the tail had been there, I would say, no, Bruce, leave the tail. But since there's no tail,
No tail to tell, right?
that's right.
In the close-up category, we have White Beauty. White Beauty.
The score is 75.
75. Bruce.
I scored this as 72. I like the concept, and I like the color combination between the browns and the whites and the yellows and the greens type of thing. But what held me back was basically there's nothing sharp, tack sharp in the entire image. And uh, that is one of the most critical aspects to it. It's called technical excellence. And just a little nitnoid on the bottom right-hand side, right now there's a little uh, part of white coming through. Get rid of something like that, and also the white behind the flowers on the right-hand side. They're just distracting, actually on both sides. And as long as it's not journalism, you know, you're the artist, you have the artist's license to get in there and make that image of what you want it to be. But you've got to start with a good, sharp image to begin with.
And can I add, when we say sharp, it doesn't mean add more sharpening to it. It
Correct.
means that in camera it needed to be in better focus to reach that. And I think that cleaning this up a little bit, there's a lot of little spots from the pollen that's there, which I don't know if it was intentional to leave it or not, but I think that given the title, it being a little bit cleaner would have helped.
Yeah, I agree.
Julie, do you want to make this
Yes, so
this
this
will be
is
the last one
the
for
last one for first half. Yes.
okay, open miscellaneous category, fall leaf on windshield after the rain. Fall leaf on windshield after the rain.
So the score is 81, but we have a discrepancy of more than 10 points.
You guys are consistent tonight. Who's our first commenter?
It's Jerry.
Okay.
Start with your score, please.
Score is 82. I like this. It's got a good impact. Compositionally, it's nice. I love the idea of it, the leaf on the windshield. I think you would have gotten higher scores. It looks to me like you focused on the raindrops and not the leaf. And maybe you would have had more of the leaf in focus and been sharper because only the bottom part of the leaf is sharp. So, but overall, I like the image.
Okay, John Paul.
I scored this in 87. I just love it. I think it's absolutely great. And I hear what Jerry's saying. I also think about the way leaves don't sit 100% flat. And I think that the part that was up against the windshield is perfectly sharp. I can see all of the veins there. And the parts that go out of focus, I think they were leaning up, and that's what leaves do. Unless it flipped it over and you could have got it completely flat. But I just, that probably wasn't there. So it's not completely in the center. Um, I don't know. It draws my eye in, and I really like it. And I do like the sharpness of the water drops that are um, in focus. It just looks it's amazing to me. I mean, there is a part of me, but I'm sure it's not true, that would say, man, this almost looks AI. It's so perfect in so many areas.
I was
Bruce?
I was a 73. I think I was a little bit low on this, but I would have liked to seen the a little bit more sharpness in the leaf. And there's a section on the right where there's no or very little of the rain droplets that are there. So I think I would be inclined to crop that out. But looking at it also, I'm thinking, get rid of the leaf entirely and make this, the aliens have arrived or something like because they look like alien ships coming to me. So anyway, I will come up.
Okay, judges, clear and rescore, please.
The score is 82.
82. Thank you, Julie. And that's
So,
break time.
yep, time for break. So we're gonna break for 5 minutes and we will be back at 7:56. All right, see you soon.
Very good. Good.
Thank you.
Julie, can you put that leaf picture back on just real quick? I want to see if I'm in my view, if I'm able to, I guess I can zoom in just by pinching and zooming. I don't know if that's actually,
Yep, I can see you zooming in.
yeah, I don't know if that's just me zooming in on the window or not. Okay, you can pop it back to break. Thank you.
Okay.
More than 10-point difference in income I've ever seen.
Ah, Bruce,
Yes.
I found out that by when you enter on the scores, it goes up on the right-hand side of your uh, phone. If you tap that,
Ah, it's good to know.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. You had mentioned something about a raw file reader or enhancer,
camera in Photoshop, camera raw.
right?
So you can do a lot of stuff in Lightroom, etc., in raw, but when you're in Photoshop itself, you can go back in what's called camera raw, and it just opens another window, and it gives you a lot of the same things. Camera raw is something that's available for Photoshop and in Lightroom. And so it allows you to do a lot of things. For instance, I like to use it to bring up details in shadows
Okay.
and cut down the highlights.
Is
Needs to
that
start
right
on
next to the enhance and
It's a filter. It's a filter, Bruce.
yes, it's a filter.
okay.
Under filter, Adobe Camera.
Got me on that.
Thank you.
Keep on top of this.
Do we have all judges back?
Yes.
Yeah, John, we can't see that you're back.
Well, but I'm here.
Okay. And Bruce got a snack.
Yep.
Got to power through.
Yep.
Just a reminder, it is 8 o'clock, so just keeping time in mind. We are grateful for your time, but we've had so many 10-point splits. I don't know that we've ever had that many.
No,
I don't recall, personally, I don't recall ever seeing one in my entire Redlands Camera Club experience. And here we've had 5 or 6 tonight. So,
Good thing I'm paying attention.
yeah. Well, I think it just
previous
goes, it just goes to show there's, different strokes and different folks.
Yeah.
in the previous system, we didn't. It was hard to notice it. You had to look at all the scores. In this one, the machine's doing it for you.
Yeah.
It's AI for you. The next image.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
we're back.
you ready?
Hang on. I turned off the break one already, but
Go ahead
I
and
still see it
click on-
there.
Yeah, go ahead and click on the next image.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That is in category X toys. Jurassic Showdown. Jurassic Showdown.
The score is 80.
It's 80. John Paul.
I just love the composition of this. And you've got the dinosaur down at the bottom and the two dogs sticking their nose through. I'm a sucker for the dogs. It would have been better if it didn't look so much like a snapshot in that I think that there's could have been a little bit of vignetting to draw our attention in maybe to the dog's eyes, and it would have been nicer if the focus hadn't been on the chain link fence, but instead of on the dog's fur. Which I know it's difficult with chain link fence there, but it's possible. And then maybe using some a gradient at the bottom to just bring down some of those rocks and everything. But such a cute image, and love it.
Yeah.
John, what was your score?
76.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment on it too. I thought this was a fun image, uh, but there are a couple little things that for improvements in the future. In front of the dinosaur, you can see there's some debris in front of the fence,
Yeah.
and that's going to be cleaned up. And looking at it, that it would have been so neat if you've gotten down right on the ground, photographing where the making the dinosaur a lot more predominant in the picture with the dog zen in the background. It has a lot of potential, and it's a fun image. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. In category X, toys, Volt Tackle. Volt Tackle.
The score is 81.
That should be Bruce's.
This is another very, very clever picture. And I like also the way that the border is set up. By the way, my score was an 80. It almost looks like it was a Polaroid, the way the border is set up, and that's neat. But since you had full control on that, it'd been nice if you had been able to get it so you didn't have the wall in the background, because unfortunately that draws the eye away from the characters here. And there's that little bright flower that's on the left that could have been taken care of. But great, fun image.
I would
And
just super quickly add there that that bright flower, it's there, and I feel like they wanted it to be there because the key line is the same color as the flower. I think that I'm not quite sure why the maker decided to do that with that pink key line, but maybe a different color on the key line instead of
yeah.
that flower.
Anyway, it's fun. It has impact.
The next image is in the places category. Moonrise Motors. Moonrise Motors.
The score is 85.
Jerry.
I scored it an 84. I like this a lot. It's got really good impact. Got three windmills there, which is the magic number in composition. Um, and the moon coming up is one of those bonuses, but which is probably a composite. But we see that a lot nowadays. But I like the overall effect of this. I just wish that tower wasn't there because it spoiled your threesome on the hill. But it's got really good impact. I like it. 84.
In the people category, last wave of the day. Last wave of the day.
The score is 88.
88. John Paul.
I scored this a 90. The shutter speed was absolutely wonderful. You can see every one of those water drops, and that sunset in the background is very nice. There's a little bit of a where it doesn't blend well, the oranges, but I'm really focusing down at the surf border, and your exposure is just wonderful. I can even see there's just a little bit of their hair and a little bit of the name on the wetsuit, so I know it's not blown out. I can see some of that hand, so it's a great silhouette, but it still gives you something there. I think the only thing that would have made it better for me is if they weren't dead center. If they had been a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, it just would have added so much. In fact, I think it would have been better if it had been more to the left so we could see more of that wave. But hard to say. Didn't see the original, but love it.
Next image in the people category is extended beach play. Extended beach play.
The score is 82.
82. Bruce.
I scored this an 87. I thought it was a very creative shot, well timed. I like the fact that the ball is airborne, and so you can see there's a lot of action going on. I like the color. Um, there are a couple of things though that are holding me back. One thing, the horizon is not even; it's slanted to the left, and again, this is not a photojournalism, so there's other things that could be done. For instance, you have two surfers out there that are just kind of draw my attention away. They're just little heads. They could be gone. Um, there's you got those sun streaks, and I'm don't know whether I like those or not. But I like the motion that's there. It tells us the title of it. That's the image actually does exactly what the title said it was going to do. So enjoy it. Look like they're having a lot of fun.
Okay, in the places category, this feels personal.
What's the
This
title again?
this feels personal.
The score is 80.
80. Jerry.
Okay, I give it an 82. I really like what's happening with the weather back there and the cloud burst attacking that area in the background. I guess that's where the title comes from. Um, but it could have been even more powerful if we just cropped off the bottom of the whole photo. The road, the sign, and the dead center. If that was all gone, we're focused mostly on what needs to be seen, the center of interest, the burst happening there, and the lighting is excellent on that. But I think if that road was gone, the sign was gone, just crop it off, it would have been dialed. So 82.
In the animal category, you're starting to irritate me. You're starting to irritate me.
The score is 82.
82. John Paul.
I scored this a 76. I think that it could have been cropped in tighter. I probably would have gotten rid of the brush on the left-hand side, just in general, and that would have moved the bird over a little bit nicely. You just can't fix out of focus by sharpening. And I think in this case, well, it's nothing is tack sharp on the bird, um, for me, but I can see that it has been sharpened quite a, and I think that that technical part would have made this a stronger image overall.
In the photojournalism category, Salton Sea Survivalist. Salton Sea Survivalist.
The score is 80.
80. Bruce.
Very interesting. It definitely has the impact of based upon what the title was. Um, it's it just tells the story that think horizon line is again slanted slightly to the left, which is also kind of indicated on the top of the trailer. Mind you, it's telling what it could actually be handed out at an angle. But the sign on it, the no trespassing, really tells a story on this, and I think it's well framed. Uh, so I thought it was a nice journalism photo.
Thank you, Bruce. In places category, Caprock. Caprock.
The score is 73.
73. Jerry.
I gave it a 75. I think I was being generous. This is a tragic missed opportunity. It's a marvelous image as far as where you are, time of day. But the Joshua tree is not sharp. The rocks aren't sharp. And no amount of sharpening is going to do it. I agree with John. You've got to get it in the camera. You got to get the focus right to begin with. But you saw a great, great moment. But go back and do it again.
Category X, toys. Trick-o-treating at Disneyland. Trick-o-treating at Disneyland.
The score is 86.
John Paul.
I gave this one an 89. I think that this is just lovely and amazing in so many ways. I don't know what technology you used for it, if it was an iPhone or camera, but lighting it underneath adds that whole like monster feel to give it underneath there. And then it's lit up inside the toy, which is just cute. You didn't cut off the top of the Magic Castle, to follow Bruce, if I was going to pick something to say about it, that your horizon line is crooked, but the castle's straight. So who cares? Because that's what matters in this. So great, good work.
In the close-up category, pluviophilia, the love of rain. Pluviophilia, the love of rain.
The score is 79.
79, Bruce.
Interesting picture. I like this story that the photographer is trying to tell here, but there's some challenges to it. I'd have liked to see a little more. It's a little bit too contrasty, shall we say? The brights in the back and the flower, or not the leaves rather. I'd like to see more detail in them, so they need to be brought up a bit. Uh, I think also if I was doing this, I'd probably be cropping maybe the bottom three things out and just somehow concentrate more on just a smaller group of the water droplets, so you could see uh, what's behind them. And it also looks like it isn't all fully sharp anywhere in the actual image. So there's some definite problems in there, but I like the idea. And with the rain we're having here, a lot of opportunities to go and reshoot.
Thank you, Bruce. In the people category, Street Fair Band. Street Fair Band.
Hmm.
The score is 81.
81. Jerry.
I, this is actually a really photojournal. I don't not rest on that, but since it's not in photojournalism category, we have to judge it by just straight people imagery. I like it overall. I really do. I like the storytelling in this. I mean, it's obviously a band, and they're doing their thing. You can background up the highlighted objects in the background could be toned down or removed to focus more on the people. Um, that's about the best I could come up with on it, but I like everything else in it.
If I can just add real quick,
Sure.
I think that I love it. I love it overall. And I scored an 80. I think that if you had slowed that shutter speed a little bit more so we could see those hands moving or those drumsticks moving, it would have
Right.
added so much to the overall story that they're drumming and that's what they're doing. And that would have been great.
Yeah.
I'd like to add just one other comment too. I realize the gal on the right is part of the drum or part of the band, but She's hidden out there in the shadows, etc. So it doesn't give her enough attention, shall we say, but she does get a lot of attention. She draws away outside the photo. So I'd be tempted to crop her out, even though she might be very important for the band, but the picture itself goes from right in the center where the guy is and the other one's doing the drums there.
And just for everyone's growth, Bruce, I 100% agree with you. And I think that it's okay to free form crop for image competition instead
Yes.
of cropping always for print, where you're thinking it's got to be a certain aspect ratio. It doesn't have to be. So go with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I fully agree with that.
In the category X, toys, gunslinger shot on a 60-plus-year-old expired film. Gunslinger shot on a 60-plus-year-old expired film.
I mean, where did you find the film? But that's a question for another day.
And if it's Kodachrome, what magic did you use to process it?
The score is
John Paul.
Well, I love it. The depth of field is absolutely wonderful with a little blur right before the feet, and then the image of the character is, really great in focus. The out of focus area is wonderful. I love it that it's not over sharpened. It feels a little nostalgic to me overall. I think it's a great image. If I was going to add anything, it would have been like, just don't be so close to the center. There was no need for so much of the left-hand side of the image. We could have pulled that in and got a little more of that building where undoubtedly they were drinking too much before they came out for this gunfight. Would have helped that story a little bit more. And then if you wanted to present it better with, a nice key line and a background that maybe took some of that dark brown and pulled us in, that would have been magnificent.
In the photojournalism category, Dancing on the Day of the Dead celebration. Dancing on the Day of the Dead celebration.
What was the category again?
This is in photo.
the score is 78.
78. Bruce.
Great capture. The expression on her face and her eyes is just really good. It draws you in, and it tells the story that's here. Unfortunately, the eyes again, as within animals, in human, it's even more important. Those eyes have got to be tack sharp, and they're just not there. There's good sharpness on her face, uh, but again, let's see, the on her face, the white on it is blown out, and so it's something that needs to be, need to be aware of that on when you're shooting on a very hot day, shall we say. So overall, I liked it. I gave it a 78, but there were definitely some things that were holding me back.
In the open miscellaneous category, Mount Whitney Revisited. Mount Whitney Revisited.
Hi. Before the judges have make their commentary, I just want to let you know that this is another one that has more than 10 points discrepancy, and the score is 81.
So go ahead and make your case, guys.
We start with Jerry.
I gave it an 89, and then I could go higher. It's got a terrific impact. The ridges are nice and sharp, and you could cut yourself on those rocks and ridges. The backlight is really dramatic. I really like that we've got a foreground area that is black. I love that because it gives us a foreground. I wouldn't want it to be that less dense blue, so it stands out against it, and you can walk your way into the image. Um, I don't. Come on, guys, tell me what you think is horrible about this.
JP.
Um, I don't like it. The foreground is black. I it has to it, and but really holds me back though is like dead center. I mean, dead center in the picture. There is a orange dot that I think is a huge sensor dot on it. And there's one to the left. There's a spot. Hold on, let me make sure. No, that's not my monitor. No, oh, it was my monitor. Never mind about that one. And then across the sun area, probably one third down from the top, there's all sorts of like weirdness that these lines that are in it. They're unexplainable to me. A real sky would be softer. Looks like it was painted maybe on a can. I agree, very sharp, which is nice. And then a third away from the left and two-thirds down, there's a whole rainbow going on a ridge, which, I mean, if that was there naturally, that's really cool. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as natural, and it pulls. So the sunset in particular, like I said, it just looks like it was painted on canvas. Um, but that center that's huge. I hope everyone can see it. Um, is something that should have been fixed.
I agree with John Paul, and I can see other sensor spots um, across the sky. Um, the horizon has a halo effect across the entire
Yeah,
mountain that I don't think is justified based upon the rest of the light. And I have no idea how all of a sudden there's light down in the bottom. We've got the foreground, but right behind it, where's that light coming from? Uh, it just
that's where the aliens landed.
Oh, okay. I've got to change my score then. Let's see. How to type in infinity? Uh, there's just a lot of technical issues here, and I scored it. I'm the bad guy. I scored it down at 70 because, uh, well, I like the impact of the picture, but there's from the technical aspect, there's just too many issues there. And on the behind the first, okay, we got the foreground, and then right in the middle, you look way back in that top of the hill of it, right above the foreground. It almost looks like a big tree sitting out there that's kind of haloed also. So there are just a lot of technical aspects that hold me back. Impact, that's good impact, but the technical aspects could have been addressed.
Okay, judges, could you clear and rescore?
We still have quite a discrepancy. The score is 77. The highest score is 82 and the lowest score is 70.
Yeah, we're not rescoring. We're just you
Okay.
take You take
Okay.
the rescore as is.
Okay. So the score is 77.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, judges. In the places category, sunset over mountain and pond. Sunset over mountain and pond.
Score is 87.
87. Uh, this one goes to John Paul.
I really like this image. I wish I could go there. I have 3 kids, so I'll probably never go. But the foreground is so nice, and I can look at that, and then I can see the reflections. It just the clouds. It's just so nice. It looks great. If I was going to score it higher on the left-hand side of the mountains, there's a lot of haloing around the ridge there where it just goes to white. So just be careful of that. I'm pretty sure that this was a sky replacement. So be cautious when you're doing that to blend those better so that you don't get those halos that stand there that stand out like that.
I'd like to add a comment on that if I could too, if we can go back. Yeah. Um, on the negative, as he's saying, there's that halo there. Now, one of the things that you can get a halo, not only if you're doing a sky replacement, but sometimes just in the changing of the size of an image. Sometimes the computer doesn't know exactly how to deal with the range from, say, blue to the other, and it ends up giving you a halo. But that was the only thing that I saw wrong with this. Great, great image. You got the foreground, you got the midground, you got the background, and all of it is sharp.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful. Good balance. Good. I just loved everything about it. I got it a 92. And I'd like to challenge uh, that, like the other judges, to maybe come up a little bit on this one because it deserves more than 87. It's definitely an 87, but I think it deserves more.
And I don't know that I said my score. It was an 84, but I can definitely come up. I agree with you.
Okay, have we heard? Did we hear from Jerry?
I agree. I'm looking at the details in this. Even the water is a beautiful image in the water. The reflection is marvelous. So yeah, it's worthy of going up the score.
Okay, judges, could you clear and rescore?
The score is 90.
90. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, judges. Next image is in the places Rocky Mountain High. Rocky Mountain High places.
The score is 82.
82, Bruce.
Yeah, I scored an 82. Um, I had mixed feelings. I like the uh, um, the effect of having the two trees on the side and the bottom of, I forget what it's
Mhm.
called, but basically it brings you right into the center. Uh, the there's issues with again with sharpness. The trees on the side slightly out of focus. I think the it looks like the most sharpest thing on it are the trees right in the center. Um, it's a nice image. Unfortunately, the mountain doesn't do itself a favor. It's not that dramatic, though. From a geological standpoint, it definitely shows some interesting things have occurred in its past. So I thought it was, so I give it an 82.
Okay, in the places category. Thank you, Bruce. Uh, Cathedral Peak. Cathedral Peak.
The score is 83.
83. Jerry.
I scored an 82. The dramatic lighting is really. I like the rock and the material on the right side leading into the mountain. And hey, we got a person in there. I didn't just see and tell. Um, so generally, I like it. I give it an 82.
Real quick, just sorry about that.
So,
Just clean your sensor. Just
yeah,
there's a lot of sensor spots on this.
there are.
All up in the sky. There's probably 9 or 10 in there. And then while I love the person right in there, I don't love where they left their water bottle all the way to the right. That could have just come out. But I know those are little tiny details that just are distracting.
Just from a educational standpoint, if you're using Lightroom, if you go to the basically remove distraction areas, one of the things is it gets rid of if you can get rid of sensor spots very easily. It's nice to have them out of the camera, but if you have them there, the software can help you get rid of that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Category X, toys. Picnic date. Picnic date.
The score is 79.
79. John Paul.
Love it. This is super cute, super fun. I think that what could have made it go definitely higher is if just it was better in focus on either of the characters. Your depth of field is super narrow. I feel like you were using a macro lens, which is great, but you just missed the focus on their itty bitty eyes there. So that would have helped if you weren't using a macro lens. And if you're on a mirrorless camera, also, try out focus peaking. It's a great feature to turn on so you can see exactly what's in focus, and that would have helped. But other than that, super cute, love it, and good work. Oh, and the grass looks great.
In the open miscellaneous category, Water Lily Dreams. Water Lily Dreams.
The score is 77.
Bruce.
Love the impact of this image. Looking at it, and it just, to me, is an extremely relaxing image. It just kind of draws me in. And I did a 78. I should probably actually gone higher than that. But the that are challenging is the focus. If that flower had been sharp tack, sharpest tack inside, it would have gone up, in my mind, up to a 90. It just
Yeah.
so beautifully composed. It just, to me, it's, as I say, very relaxing. It's one that I could sit there and just look at for a long time. So I really enjoyed it.
In the animal category, Cliff's courting.
So we have another more than 10 points discrepancy for this image.
Okay, well, Jerry gets the first comment.
What was the score?
Uh, well, we need yours first. Or no, we don't have a score.
Julie, you didn't give the score?
No, I didn't hear a
Sorry.
score.
The score is 80.
Okay, 80. Okay.
Okay, now.
Sorry.
I gave it an 84. I think it's a great moment that's been captured here. I like what the birds are doing. I don't know what exactly they're doing, but it's really cool. And even though they're very dark birds, there is a detail in the birds for the most part, looking pretty good. And the eyes look good. And so I give it an 84. Tell me
Okay,
why
John
I'm
Paul.
wrong.
Yeah, I give it an 85. I agree with Jerry. The exposure is wonderful. Nothing is too dark. The eyes seem to be very sharp. I mean, maybe they could be a little bit sharper, but I can see the feathers. I can see the eyes, the reflection.
Yeah.
Background's nice. There's a a couple distractions on the left hand side. There's some branches sticking out that could have been cleaned up. If I was going to fix anything, I probably would have cropped off the right hand side where that little brush is down at the bottom right, and just moved the image over a little bit and down a little bit. Just a nice tighter cropping would have been good. But other than that, I think it's great.
And Bruce.
I'm the bad boy here. I said did a 72, and looking at it, uh, I should have come up a lot higher. But the thing that was holding me back primarily is the cormorants are, especially the big one, is just too dark. Yes, they're black, but there's also some, if it had been lightened up just ever so less, just a little bit more light in there, it have brought out the detail on the feathers more and make it much more, bring you into the detail that is there on these things. They are sharp, and I'll be bringing my score up, but you know,
Because on my screen, I can see detail all throughout the belly. All the way down in, I can see feathers.
yeah. Well, I'm looking at three different monitors and I'm still having troubles with that. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned. But as I say, I'll bring my score up.
Okay, judges Claire and rescore.
The score is 83.
83. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, judges. Next image, category X, toys. Cornhole. Cornhole.
The score is 84.
84, JP.
This is a magnificent image, and I can't believe that it didn't do higher than 84, only because, I mean, how did you get the moving sandbag in the air? They couldn't throw, I mean, that's great. And it doesn't even look fake. Like it looks like it's a real thing. You got Buzz's eyes looking at the actual score thing. That other character who's a cowboy, I don't know. But he's, it's just great. If I was going to pick anything at all to say, I would have cropped a little bit tighter by bringing the bottom up a little bit, give it that nice classic heavy weighted there, and then the key line didn't need to be bright green. It didn't need to be that at all. It could have just been like a really dark green or black. Outside of that, it's a great image for this category, and the company that made these toys would have been honored to use this as an advertisement.
In the places category, watching sunset over vast ocean. Watching sunset over vast ocean.
The score is 89.
89. Bruce.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the effect of the long exposure to get the showing the movement in the waves. Uh, it's just the colors that are there are just phenomenal. Uh, the one person standing there gives scale to it. Uh, I can see this on a wall. The only thing that I'm a little bit concerned with, I would need something to be able to bring in something to look at, but the looks like the horizon line is just a itty bitty off of level. But other than that, uh, and then there's another little improvement. Okay, you've got the main person there that's between the two rocks, and there is in something on the middle rock right at the top. Don't know what it's there. I don't know whether there's another person sitting there, et cetera, but I would have gotten rid of that. That's just a little bit of distraction. But other than that, it is just a gorgeous picture.
Bruce, that's a beautiful bird. You should bring your score up.
Okay, sometimes birds don't deserve the attention they're getting.
Oh, okay, okay.
And what was your score, Bruce?
90.
In the animal category, satisfied. Satisfied.
The score is 84.
84, that's Jerry's.
I gave it an 81. It's pretty brutal, but it's nature. It's what they do, and the title's excellent too. The lighting's just a little weak. I mean, it's really deep and down in the bottom part, even on the leopard itself. So I give an 81. Mostly the lighting issue to me. I'm trying to figure out where the best sharpness is, and it's looking a little soft where it shouldn't be. Yeah, the leopard's face looks all soft. So I give it 81.
In the places category, Clearing fog. Clearing fog.
The score is 82.
82, and this one goes to John Paul. And
Yeah,
this,
I give this an 82. I think there's a great impact there. I think the title 100% matches this. It's wonderful. The composition is great. Presentation, could be better with maybe a border key line there, anything. One of the things that I would have considered, and maybe the maker did this, but I'm not sure, is that while it is clearing the fog, which I think is great, I might have dehazed the whole image a little bit in Lightroom just because that Joshua tree, that super old, beautiful Joshua tree there, is really clear. And I would have liked to have seen maybe just a little bit more fog in it. And I think a dehaze would have done that. But I don't know since I don't have the image. But I think that I think it was beautiful.
and that, thank you, Jay, John,
That's
John
okay.
Paul, and thank you, judges. That was our final image.
And we do have a best of show. So
Yes,
we
I
don't
show
we
we
do.
do. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording after I thank the judges. Bruce, Jerry, and John Paul, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I think this was the most number of the widest spreads that we've ever had. But I think that goes to show, perspective and, impact and how different people see different images differently. Art is, uh, you know, um, non-linear. There is not one right answer, but technically, there are good things to be looking at and working towards. And impact is, when an image has impact, I think everybody stops and notices that. And so, thank you for your expertise. We'll just go down the road. Any last image? Any last words, Bruce?
Yes, I have to agree with you. I just a lot of really nice pictures, and I think if I'd like to say to all of people who entered the images, you've done a great job, and uh, having these competitions and entering them is probably the best thing you can do for your photographic career, or even if you just for your own self, because it teaches you to learn to see things other than from your own eyes. Uh, One of the things that we look at a picture that we've taken, we fall in love with it because we have all the experience related to it, the smells, the feelings, etc. Amount of times that we took. To get one photo over in Sedona, it took me 12 years. And every year it was 2 weeks at a time, every night down to get the shot. But all that doesn't mean anything to the viewer. It's got to be what story is being told, what message you get across. And going through the process of putting on the armor and putting your work out there for other people to look at who will let you know what they see in it. Yes, our wives or husbands or boyfriends, whatever, they think our work's great. We fall in love with it. But the thing is, competition helps you become better. I would not be here doing what I've done today, uh, in being, a member of PPA, being on the American Society of Photographers, stuff like that. It was all because I started out here in Redlands Camera Club. I did photography young from a long time ago when I was in college, etc. But what turned it around was coming to Redlands Camera Club, taking these images, being encouraged by someone everybody probably remembers, Frank. He's made a big impression on all of us.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being willing to present your work. And again, what you're hearing is, yes, there's some technical aspects to it, and we see things differently, but it's a personal opinion. So don't get upset if you don't get a real high score, or don't get too excited if you got a real high score. There's always ways that you can improve, and doing these competitions is it. So
Appreciate that,
thank you
Bruce.
for inviting us.
Jerry, any last words?
Yeah, I want to make a comment because when you first mentioned your challenge as toys, I said to myself, oh, great. What am I going to have to sit through tonight? But I have to say, your members, these threw down the gauntlet and they came up with some really creative interpretation
Yeah.
and methods of doing these toys. I was really blown away by it. Very impressed. And it is challenging when someone throws down something like that and says, okay, do this theme. And a lot of photographers don't like that. They want to do their thing, you know. But it was really enlightening, and we had some really creative things today in the toys category.
They
So I
certainly
had fun.
were.
I had
Yeah,
fun.
appreciate that. John Paul?
This is my first time judging for the Redlands Camera Club, and maybe I'm the fault of all of the way too open scoring, but I was so pleased with what I saw and loved it, and I loved the toys. Jerry, you're right; those were great. The only thing I would say, if I was going to look overall in the aggregate, where I would say just really think about it, is that the sharpening tool in Lightroom, in Photoshop, on your iPhone is not your friend when you want to bring something into focus, because sharpening and focus are different. So if
Yep.
you see an image that you have and you're like, it is out of focus, don't over sharpen it and think that that's going to make it better, because it doesn't. And, instead work harder on getting great focus, so that then when you add sharpening, it's just a nice little chef's kiss,
Yeah.
instead of trying to make it overly seasoned when it doesn't need to be. But overall, wonderful work to everyone.
Great.
Thank you, John Paul. And using the chef analogy, I think we are overbaked. So great evening. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you, judges.
Some
Thank you,
beautiful
everybody.
comments in the there. Thanking the judges for a great job. Appreciate your opinion. Thank you. Great competition. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank
you.
Chris.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Julie.
Bye. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Bruce.
Bye,
Thanks,
Jerry.
judges. Bye.